I am not a historian, but neither are you. So, how about we, the people, learn this stuff together? Welcome to US 101. And if you have small children with you while watching this episode, you might want to get them some earplugs or some noise-canceling headphones, because this episode might get loud. Ooh, wow. Those are just some of the responses that you might hear when watching a fireworks display during a 4th of July celebration in the United States. Brightly colored illuminations explode across night skies, followed by booms and bangs loud enough to send your dog scurrying into the bathtub for protection, all to celebrate the day America declared its independence from Great Britain in 1776. So ooh and ah are definitely appropriate responses, but I'd like to include another one. Why? Seriously, why? Why fireworks? I mean, when was it decided that fireworks were to be the ultimate expression of America's declaring its independence nearly 250 years ago? For that answer, guys, we've got to go back. And I'm talking like way back, way back. Sherman and Peabody, way back machine, way back. How far back? Way before America was even a glint in its daddy's eye. I'm talking about the year 200 BC, and the place? China. Because some historians believe that the genesis of fireworks happened around this time, and they say that some Chinese, what they would do is they would take bamboo rods, hollow bamboo rods, and they would place them over fire until they would make a loud crackle and a loud bang. And the reason they say that they did this was because the sound was meant to ward off evil spirits. But in doing that, in holding these bamboo rods over a fire, that was the very early beginnings of fireworks. But from the early beginnings of roasting bamboo over an open flame, we now jump from around 200 BCE to now 800 CE, where we are going to meet a Chinese alchemist. Now, this Chinese alchemist, I don't know their name, but legend says that this alchemist was in their lab one night and they were trying to figure out the key to immortality, trying to create an elixir of life. And this alchemist combined a couple of ingredients, things like sulfur, potassium nitrate, charcoal. And this alchemist in their lab, toiling, combining all these ingredients. I will finally find the secret to immortality. I will live forever. And in some respects, they did live forever. Because no, they didn't make an elixir of life. Instead, this alchemist created gunpowder. And then somebody in China had the wherewithal to go, you know, if I put this powder inside of those bamboo tubes that we roast over a fire to get that crackle and that bang sound, it won't happen if I put the powder in that tube. Boom! Fireworks 1.0. And as time went on, gunpowder transformed from this kooky little powder that makes these big banging noises. It was adapted and molded to be used in another arena entirely, the battlefield. War was taken to a whole nother level, especially when Chinese forces would take the gunpowder and use it to shoot projectiles at their enemy, very early rockets. But then later in the 13th century, gunpowder makes its way west towards Arabian and European countries, and these cultures take gunpowder and adapt it to create their own forms of weapons, things like cannons and muskets. However, when gunpowder was westernized, it wasn't only used for military purposes, but it was also used to create fireworks on a much grander scale. And furthermore, because you could use gunpowder to shoot projectiles into the air, now fireworks could be an aerial display. It wasn't just something that, it wasn't like a firecracker anymore. Now you could shoot them into the sky. And in fact, by the year 1600, fireworks were used to celebrate multiple things, everything from military victories to royal and religious affairs. And on top of that, when people were watching fireworks, way back when, around 1600 or so, you'd look in the sky and you'd see fireworks. The problem was it was only one color. It was orange, with a little bit of a golden afterthought, so to speak. There wasn't color yet in fireworks, but we'll get to that. Monarchs naturally wanted to use fireworks as a way to celebrate grand events, at least in their minds. For example, to mark the occasion of Henry VII's wedding in 1486, fireworks were used, and it is said that this is the first time that fireworks were used in England. Cut to the year 1685 and the coronation of King James II. Apparently, the man that created the fireworks display for King James II's coronation was so good good at his job, he was made into a knight. The kings of France loved themselves fireworks displays, and they would shoot them off at the Palace of Versailles and other palaces around the country. And even Peter the Great wanted to get so involved in the firework game that when his son was born, he had a 5-hour firework extravaganza, which does not make sense to me, because when a child is born, the last thing you want to do is fire off loud explosives for a very long time. You'd want to keep it quiet. You don't want to keep the kid up. It's new. So now, with fireworks entrenched in the minds of Europeans, some of these Europeans get on boats, cross the Atlantic, head west, and make their way to the New World, bringing with them their knowledge of fireworks. In fact, some say that Captain John Smith, you know Captain John Smith from the Pocahontas story, it's said that in 1608, Captain John Smith shot off the first fireworks display in North America, but I don't know if that's actually true. It's apparently legend, but I don't know if it's actually true or not. But we do know that colonists definitely knew what fireworks were. How do we know this? Because of a letter that was written to Abigail Adams by her husband, John Adams, on July 3rd, 1776. John wrote to Abigail, and in his letter discussed how America, now having claimed its independence from Great Britain, should celebrate the occasion. He wrote, quote, "It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other from this time forward forevermore." Now, the illuminations that Adams wrote about in his letter, that was the reference to fireworks. And, oh, you should also know, by the way, that when John Adams was talking about the day in question, about Independence Day, he wasn't talking about July 4th. He was talking about July 2nd, because that was the day that the Continental Congress actually passed Lee's resolution for the United States to officially declare independence from Great Britain and break away and become its own nation. Now, even though the United States declared its independence in 1776, fireworks wouldn't be used for Independence Day celebrations until 1 year later, July 4, 1777. A newspaper, the Pennsylvania Evening Post, reported that in Philadelphia, quote, "The evening was closed with the ringing of bells, and at night there was a grand exhibition of fireworks on the commons, and everything was beautifully illuminated." And it wasn't just Philly that had fireworks that year. Boston also celebrated Independence Day with fireworks, with Colonel Thomas Crafts shooting them off over Boston Common. Also, by the way, just to refer back to a point that I had made earlier, the fireworks that were being shot off at these very early Independence Day celebrations, they were still only the color orange. We didn't actually get color in our fireworks until the 1830s, and that was brought about by Italian inventors. What these Italian inventors figured out was that if they added little bits of metal like barium and strontium into the fireworks, they would get different colored explosions. And by 1783 in the United States, guys, fireworks were being sold to the general public, because let's be honest, who doesn't want to act like a pyromaniac for one day under the guise of celebration? But there you have it, guys. Now you know why fireworks are such a big part of Independence Day celebrations all across the United States of America. So this year, when your head is tilted upward to the heavens and your eyes are filled with bright colors, swirling patterns, and glistening balls of fire, you can go ahead and whisper a quick thank you to the Chinese alchemists who created gunpowder, the Italians for figuring out how to add color, and to John Adams for suggesting that illuminations be a part of our country's celebration, an American tradition created on a global scale. Isn't that a nice thought? That is it for this episode of US 101, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Really do appreciate it. And I want to wish all of you guys a happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day for all of you that celebrate it, all you Americans that celebrate the 4th of July. America this year, guys, is, let me do my math, 2019 minus 1776, 243 years old this year. Well done, America. Well done indeed. As always, guys, thank you for subscribing to the channel, for liking the videos, for watching them, sharing them, leaving comments. Really do appreciate it. I would love to know, how do you guys celebrate 4th of July? Do you go out to the park and watch fireworks? Do you grill all day? Do you have like any family traditions for 4th of July? I'd love to know your own personal 4th of July traditions. Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, down below in the description box, links to US 101 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Click on those. Follow me on the social media. We can talk and discuss about all good things there. Guys, I will see you soon for an all-new episode of US 101. Until then, I am all done. Happy 4th of July. Please don't shoot anybody in the face with a Roman candle. It's hilarious, but somebody's going to go to the hospital that night. And then the other person might go to jail.